And welcome back to The Line. Our final topic this week is the latest population numbers for New Mexico. Here's the headline in the Albuquerque Journal. Quote, New Mexico's population stagnant as people leave in unprecedented numbers, end quote. Sophie, Michael Coleman wrote a great piece about this and the graphics that went along with it. It was depressing to look at. What do you attribute this to besides the normal, take we have out there that's about jobs? Is it about something else other than jobs, or is it really just about jobs here?
When I talk to people, what I'm hearing is jobs, and I'm talking pretty frequently to people who are planning on moving elsewhere.
Right.
And some of that is a function of my job, but what we see in the report and what I've seen on the street are pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving to Colorado because I want to be able to start a family, and I feel like I can afford to do that there. I'm moving to Arizona. I'm moving to Utah. In some cases, I'm moving to Texas. I'm hearing less of that, although it's certainly been brought up, and it raises, I think, this really interesting question about if Arizona is going great guns, Colorado is going great guns. Geographically, we're so much a unit. We were one state at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Why not New Mexico?
Right.
And as we look at those communities, we see differences in the business climate. We see differences in, certainly in Denver with the sports culture.
Mm-hmm.
We see all sorts of things. I think the most significant is that we've seen that they've come out of the most recent recession in so much better shape than New Mexico has. And the fact that we don't appear really to be looking at those states to see, maybe we're looking at them, but we're not enacting the policies that have helped to kick them up and out, is really discouraging.
It's a tough one. I mean, Dan, my kids, we talk about this all the time, you and I. My girls are 23 and 21. The 23-year-old loves Denver. They go to techno shows up at Red Rocks, her and her friends, they have a great time. How do I, as a parent, say, you know what, if she ever comes to me and says, I want to move to Denver, what do I say to her? No, stick it out in Albuquerque because we have X coming.
They have an IKEA.
Right, exactly. But you know what I mean?
That's the answer.
At some point, we have to try to keep our talent here,
I think
but we can't say no.
I think that's an even bigger problem going forward than how do we attract people. It's, and this report talks a lot about the people, the mass exodus.
Right.
And I think, it's a problem with, my son's going to leave here in a little bit, my oldest, to go to George Washington, to go to school, to become a physical therapist. And I doubt he's going to come back to New Mexico. We just don't have, before we start looking at, and Sophie's right, we got someone right above us in Colorado, right to our left in Arizona, right to our right in Texas that seem to be going well. And we're this island of mediocrity. And to some extent, we're not even succeeding and we're failing. And I think there's not a silver bullet. We talk around the table that we wish there was, right? We wish we could say, go do this and it'll make New Mexico better. But I think one of the two biggest problems with New Mexico are, one, we can't keep our kids. Our kids are leaving here to go to school, leaving here to get educated, leaving here to get better paying jobs. The other thing is, we don't know who we are yet. New Mexico does not have an identity. Are we a high-tech society? Are we an oil and gas system? Can we be a combination of them? We want to say that we're involved in high-tech industries, but yet you look at all the stuff we're doing to try to attract or keep people, we're failing compared to the people next to us. And then when we make these changes at the legislative level, the city level, the county level, we seem to make the wrong changes, right? We hear from people this is why they left, and then we go change that. We don't change this, we change that. And then we think, well, they're all going to come. And so I think at some point you almost wish the best thing we could do is you kind of wish we could just hit the pause button, take 90 days and kind of talk to each other and say, what do we really want to be? Our tax structure in Santa Fe is so messed up. It's just, there's no way to attract somebody to this state and want them to really build a business unless you invoke the Trump rule, which is just go meet with them and threaten them and get them.
Eric Griego, there's right now money, as someone famously said in our legislature recently, but there's the long game too. And we have to play the long game here, it seems to me. A 20, 30-year plan that says, look, here's where we're going to be down the road. We can't fix this in 1 or 2 years. Do you hear anything out there with that kind of a thought?
I think this has been a long time in coming. We've talked about this a lot here in other venues. It's really been a series of short-sighted decisions and not investing in our people. We keep talking about this early childhood investment. Well, people have figured out, one of our biggest problems is we don't have a workforce that's ready, and we have kids who are falling through the system and so on. Well, that starts because we are underinvesting early on. Infrastructure, and one of the things that even Denver for sure has done this in terms terms of building public places that are people want to live in. So these millennials or whoever, when you bring your family, you want to have the amenities. Even Dallas did this. Dallas figured out how to do this almost 20 years ago, to put in a really great light rail system when I was living there, and people thought it was crazy, but guess what? It really helped fuel. So I think it's two things. It's we have to start biting the bullet and stop chasing through corporate tax cuts and incentives, and we need a closing fund. That's what's going to save us. Somebody's going to save us, and we have to start saying, take that money, invest in the kind of infrastructure that's going to create the quality of life here that people are going to want to stay and move to if they want to move here.
Right.
And two, we have to start investing in our people, early childhood, our schools. We're cutting all of that now. We're cutting university spending. We're cutting. So instead of sort of saying, let's continue to sort of hope that we can sort of attract people by bribing them or cutting taxes. Please come to New Mexico. We'll give you. What do you need? How big a check do you need to come here? Let's say this is a great place.
Right.
Two quick points. The mayor of Oklahoma City, who's the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, was just here. Conservative city, oil and gas state. They figured out massive investments, which a Republican mayor said, you've got to make those investments in this city. Guess what? It's totally turned their economy around. The second thing is Robert Putnam, the famous Harvard sociologist, just basically said, look, the biggest thing we ever did to really change the economics and the outcomes of this country is to invest in people. He, Heckman, all these really smart people say, you can't just hope people will come. You have to sort of invest in the people there, and that's a 20-year investment.
Yes.
Right? Then we have the workforce.
That's right.
Then we have
And we got to think about doing it right too, right? I mean, like our investment in New Mexico was the spaceport, and and now it's this bus that's going to run up and down Central, and yet we have zero ability to tie in the jewels that would bring people here, right? Whether it's flying in, getting to the Isotopes game, getting to the Balloon Fiesta, we don't have that. We don't have that long thought.
But the focus is wrong. It is time for us to stop saying, "Oh my gosh, we've got to keep my kids here." No, we don't. My kids need to go someplace else so they can see another process. They will come back. We need to recruit other states' kids because we need new ideas. And as long as we continue to say, oh, but we have to do this so my kids can stay here, we are not going to change.
I agree with you. As the sister of a sister who has a brand new baby, as I like to bring up every time I'm on now, we have conversations. She was here, she's left, could she come back? And education, the same things that we're talking about. If I agree, you want young people to go to experience other cities, other cultures, other ways of doing things, but then you have to make it possible for them to come back. And right now, we're not doing that. And education of their children, quality of life, all of that is keeping them away. Crime.
But the economic developers, it's the same old stuff. Why do you expect something different? I'm tired of it.
Right.
Let's change the focus.
Listen to Janice Arnold-Jones, people. We're all with her on that one. Thanks for joining us this week. Thank you all for your passion this week especially. Good stuff. I'm Gene Grant. Thanks for joining us for New Mexico in Focus. We appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged. We'll see you next week in Focus.
Funding for New Mexico in Focus provided by the McCune Charitable Foundation and the Nalita E. Walker Fund for KNME-TV, the KNME-TV Endowment Fund, and viewers like you.